Record. Excellent.
The screen keeps going black every now and then. So I don't know if you have like locked the you as the main screen or
Let's see, really?
yeah, like you just came back on for me, but you were black from the time you said you were going to start recording. So I don't know if that's just me or other people, but while you were showing the equipment, you would go black for a while. So I
Oh,
don't know if that's like someone else should like I don't know. Anyway, just
okay. Good to know. Thank you for letting me know. And definitely let me know if it happens again.
yeah, I would just make sure you whatever you're recording, you are recording your
My
screen
screen.
versus
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. So let us get started. We will start in our traditional position. So we're going to have a seat at the base of the OOV and just start all the way at the very edge of it. And then slowly have the weights ready by your sides, and then have the ball nearby. And as we start, we're going to slowly lay all the way down and just find comfortable position here for a second. Good. Now, to make sure we're in a good position on the OOV, we're going to do a test. Bring one leg up into tabletop and then the other. And if it feels like it's not pulling on your neck, so you don't feel your head lifting up, you don't feel pressure in your neck, then you're in a good spot. If you're too low or too high and you lift your legs and you kind of feel like you're getting pulled, just scoot back and find that more comfortable position there. Now, we're going to always start with the balance test, and we're also going to be finishing with the balance test. The idea of OOV classes and Pilates work that we're going to be doing is to find that reconnect your nervous system, to connect all the deep core muscles. So we're going to bring both arms up to the ceiling and then slowly lift one leg up into tabletop. Lower down, and then bring the other leg up. And lower down. Now bringing one leg up again, holding it there. And we're going to try to bring the other leg up and see if we can balance. I'm definitely not there, and some days are better than others for me. So just note it for yourself where you're at. And then we're going to start with both arms up to the ceiling and one leg in tabletop. Now choose the leg where it's harder for you to balance. That's very important. From here, we're going to take our hands out to the side to a 90-degree position. Just let them rest on the floor. And we're going to take this into the breathing pattern, the diaphragmatic breath. So I want you to breathe into the belly. So you should feel your stomach lift, rise. Hold the breath there. The rest of the breath goes into the chest. Now breathe out of the chest and then breathe out of the belly. So again, we breathe into the stomach. Then we breathe into the chest. Exhale out of the chest. And exhale out of the belly. Now keep going as I chat about this pattern. So what we're trying to accomplish is breathing through cavities. So we're filling our abdominal cavity with air. We're increasing pressure in the abdominal cavity. Then we're filling our chest cavity, thoracic cavity with air. We exhaling back out of the thoracic cavity. and then the abdominal cavity. So this stimulates our diaphragm, this stimulates a vagus nerve, and sometimes the diaphragm can act as a stabilizer instead of a breathing muscle as it's meant to be. And that in itself changes how well we can engage our deep core muscles. So one more breath here. Breathe in through the stomach, breathe in through the chest, exhale through the chest, and exhale through the belly. Let's lower our leg down. Let's bring both hands up to the tabletop, towards the ceiling. And we're going to bring one leg up and then bring the other leg up. And just kind of see if that improved your balance. If it did, great. Then this is what you're going to work on. If it didn't, we'll keep moving on. Let's grab our weights next, if they're handy. And we're going to grab the ball as well. So we're going to put the ball between the knees. We're still in our OOV position on the back. Both arms will reach towards the ceiling. Now, squeezing the ball between the thighs, feet are parallel. Arms are reaching up to the ceiling, palms towards each other. Elbows nice and straight. I want you to bring your chin towards your chest gently. So you're going to nod the chin and feel the length in the back of the neck. And then release that chin nod. Again, we're going to nod the chin and release. Keep going, gently nodding the chin, trying to lengthen the back of the neck as much as possible. And then releasing it. One more time, nodding the chin. Now I want you to stay there and hold it. Arms will start slowly reaching towards the ceiling as you hold in the chin tuck. So keep reaching your arms up real slow. Focus on the ribs. The rib cage gets pulled down so we're not arching the back. We're going to bring our hands all the way until they touch the floor. And then I want you to lift them up about 1 centimeter or so. And we're going to hold this posture. It's a challenging posture on the shoulders. So you're trying to keep the chin tucked, ribs pulled down. And we're going to hold it for about 40 seconds. Now we're going to incorporate a lot of isometric holds in our workouts. The reason being is that slow twitch muscle fibers strengthen and respond to isometric contraction. So to help turn on that deep stabilizing muscular system, we're going to incorporate holds. And slowly bringing hands all the way up, releasing that chin nod. One more time, nod the chin. Now we're going to just move our arms. We're going to bring our hands overhead all the way until it touches the floor. And then we're going to bring our hands all the way down towards the hips. And we're going to do this range of motion 8 times. So arms reach up, chin is down. They reach all the way overhead. Touch the floor and slowly bringing them down. Excellent. And again. Now, as you're moving through this range of motion, notice what's happening with your arms. Are your elbows or your hands turning out as you reach overhead? Do you notice any difference that your body is doing, trying to bend the elbow, perhaps. Try to focus on that palms turning towards each other, thumbs reaching for the floor, and keeping nice and straight elbow. Almost there. Keep squeezing the ball, keeping your pelvis nice and heavy on the OOV. And let's make this our last one. And coming all the way down. Good. Arms reach up towards the ceiling next. Now we're going to take our hands out to the side. So we're going to start taking them out to the side, nice and wide, touching the floor and then lifting up about 1 centimeter off the floor. And we're going to hold this position. Squeeze the ball a little bit more. Bring your shoulders away from ears, not the chin. Pull the ribs down. Breathe and hold. Last 10 seconds. And now we're going to start bringing one arm up towards the ceiling to that starting position. Lowering it back down. And then the other arm lifts up. And lower back down. Keep alternating 3 more times, side to side. As you're doing it, notice the weight shift in your feet. Do you have a little more weight shift when one arm comes up, trying to stabilize against that load? Which is great. That means your body is using what it has available to find equilibrium, to find balance. One more time, side to side. And we're going to slowly bring our hands all the way up. Excellent. Now we're going to hold our hands here. We're going to start rotating our arms, kind of spinning the entire arm bone in the socket. Now keep spinning as we'll take this exercise into circles. So we're going to start reaching overhead, both arms at the same time as we're spinning our arm bones. Out, in, out, in. Once we're all the way overhead, let's start moving out to the side, kind of doing snow angels essentially. Notice if there's any restriction in your shoulder in that rotator cuff function that is responsible for keeping the arm bone nice and tight in the socket, but allowing full rotation. Now we're going to start coming back up through that overhead position, still spinning our arms in the sockets. All the way overhead. And then all the way back up towards the ceiling. Excellent. Let's lower our hands down. We're going to drop the weights. And we're going to take the ball and put it underneath one foot. So elbows are down and hands are on the outside of the ribs. I kind of like that position where you can still feel the floor and your arms have that tactile feedback where your rib cage is. Gently pressing your foot into the ball. We're going to start sliding it away, straightening the leg all the way, pulling toes towards you, and then pulling it back up. So just taking it through very gentle heel slides. Now we're going to add rotation to this heel slide. So as you're sliding the leg away, let the hip open out to the side as it slides away, and then bring it inward as you're pulling it in. So let the hip open as it slides away, pulling it in as you bring it up. So just like with the arm, our femur, ball and socket joint, you're trying to create that spin in the femur. So the movement comes from the hip bone. Let's reverse it. Take that knee inward as the leg straightens and outward as you pull it up. In as it straightens and outward. One more time here. Excellent. And then let's bring that foot into a nice position where the foot is on the ball. We're going to press that leg into the ball, bring opposite leg up into the tabletop. Now we're going to bring opposite arm up towards the ceiling. So we have elbow on the floor of one hand, foot of the other leg. So now we're in a lot less stable position. From here, let's take that leg into heel slides. Let it go all the way down and bring it back up. Good. Keep going. If this feels easy, see if you can lift the elbow off the floor and let it hover. Perhaps you just try a little bit, offload that elbow. We're trying to move as slow as we can here to allow our central nervous system to experience the balance, to activate our stabilizing core muscles. Last one here. Bring that leg all the way in. Excellent. Now the leg that's in tabletop, we're going to tap the floor and bring it back up for 8 times. Back and forth. Let it go down and up. Again, see if you can offload the elbow a little bit. Halfway there. Keep pressing into the ball with your foot. And last one here. Excellent. We're going to lower our arm down, bring it to the floor on the elbow, and then we're going to switch the ball underneath the other foot. So our first set are heel slides, sliding the leg out and then pulling it back up, and then adding those little rotations. Knee moves out to the side, and then knee moves in as we're bringing it in. So your goal here is to find that spin in the femur, in the hip bone. Also notice your motor control. Do you feel the smoothness comparable side to side? Does it feel that one leg is a little harder to do? And if so, try to slow down the movement and focus more on precision as opposed to repetitions. And then let's reverse the direction. Let the knee go in. And then rotate it outward as you pull it back up. Good. 3 more times here. Last one. We're going to pause, bring it all the way in to the center. We're going to lift the opposite leg up into the tabletop, and then the opposite arm comes up to the table, towards the sky, towards the ceiling. Take a second, find balance in this posture. One side will likely feel different than the other. And we're going to start sliding our leg out and bringing it back in. Keep checking in with the neck. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ears. Chin is slightly down. Last one here. Now let's hold that foot on the ball, and the other leg will tap the floor. We're going to go into heel taps and bring it back up. As you keep going, start thinking about the elbow that's on the floor. Can you offload it a little bit? Maybe lift it. Or maybe just keep it on the floor. You want to make a task challenging enough to where it takes all your focus and concentration, but not so difficult where it falls apart, where you can't do the movement. Good. One more time here. Excellent. We're going to bring that leg all the way up. And we're going to lower our arm down, and both feet will go down to the floor. We don't need the ball. We're going to kick it out to the side. And before we transition to a different position on the OOV, we're going to work a little bit on the neck. So I want you to nod the chin. Arms will just go down by your sides. Keeping the chin tucked, I want you to lift your head off the floor about a centimeter or so. We're going to hold this position 10 seconds. Now the key is to keep chin tucked. If you feel that your chin is losing it, you can't do it, then lower your head down. Let's lower all the way down and relax. Nod the chin again. Keep that chin tucked position. We're going to lift our head up just so slightly. From here, we're going to turn our head to the right. Keeping chin tucked. And bring it back to center. And lower head all the way down. And relax. One more time, nod the chin. Lift your head off the floor just slightly. And then turn it to the left. And back to the center. And lower all the way down. Excellent. We're going to put our hands on the corner of the OOV. So just kind of hug that bottom part of the OOV. And then scoot your body down. So now the lower back will be supported by the big round part of it. And then the pointy part is right at the neck. And we're going to work on a curl up position, but most importantly, this is focused on hip flexion. So your hips are not quite on the floor, but almost, maybe a couple of centimeters or so. Now we're going to keep our hands reaching towards the heels. From here, we're going to nod the chin, take it to the chin nod and a head lift. Start sliding your ribs down towards your hips. Start flexing at the hips as you flex up here. Now let's hold this position. So we have abdominal control. We're pulling our ribs down towards the hips. Our tailbone is almost on the floor. Our chin is tucked. Our head is lifted. Shoulders are plugged back in, away from ears. It's a very powerful position. a lot of that frontal line, what I call deep frontal line work and control. One more breath here. And then we're going to start sliding back down and taking a breather. We're going to do a total of 3 sets. So 2 more sets here. Here we go. Nod the chin, lift the head first. Pull the ribs down towards the hips. Push your tailbone down to the floor. Come up as high as you can. So the lower back is pressing, is balancing against the OOV. Now in this posture, we're going to take one arm out to the side. Bring it back to the center. Take the other arm out to the side. And back to center. And let's lower all the way down. And take a break. Last set. Nod the chin first. Lift the head. Slide those ribs down. Lift up high into the curl up. Hold. Now we're going to take our torso to the side. So right arm reaches to the right heel as you side bend your torso as far as you can without moving the tailbone or the pelvis. And then we're going to come back to the center and we're going to side bend the other way. And come back to the center. And let's lower all the way down. Excellent work. We're going to straighten our legs all the way straight. And we're going to take our hands all the way overhead for a nice full body stretch. And we're going to breathe here the same way that we started. We're going to breathe into the belly. Then breathe into the chest. Exhale out of the chest. And then push the air out of the belly. One more time. Into the stomach. Into the chest. Out of the chest. And out of the belly. Let's lift our hands up and slowly coming off the OOV. Excellent. Our next series will be focused on spinal extension. So we're going to be on the stomach. Now we're going to flip our OOV around to where it's still in the same position, but the pointy part is towards you. We don't need any props. We're going to go on to the stomach. Now, as you lie down here, I want you to be in a position where you can squeeze the pointy part of the OOV and be able to actually lift your legs up. So we're going to be quite a bit forward where the OOV is basically pressing into our abdominal cavity. But first, we're going to lie down there, relax the legs, relax upper body, and just stay here. Now, while this might feel uncomfortable, that pressure into the stomach, the deficit of the breath into the belly, actually forces our diaphragm to push the air into the upper ribs, into the upper chest. And this actually stimulates our vagus nerve that will help our nervous system switch into the parasympathetic mode. So while it's kind of uncomfortable, it's a great, very important exercise to be able to get to the point where you can tolerate this. So now from here, keeping legs down on the floor, we're going to squeeze the OOV. So just feel it between inner thighs. And then as you breathe in, we're going to start lifting our upper body up into extension. So the arms are sliding down and we're just coming up into that nice swan dive. And then as you exhale, slowly start coming back forward. We'll do about 5 of these. Again, breathe in, keep a nice long neck, the chin is tucked. We're coming up into extension. And as we exhale, we're diving back forward over the OOV. 3 more times. Inhale as we're coming up. Exhale as we're coming down. Last 2, breathing in. And exhaling down. And last one here, breathing in. And exhale. Now we're going to exhale down on to the elbows here. This is where we're going to shift our weight a little bit more forward. We're going to squeeze the OOV and try to lift both legs up just to hover off the floor. Now we're in this triple extension, which is what I call meaning the knees straight, the toes are reaching long, so you're pointing through your ankles, your glutes are on, and you are squeezing and lifting the little piece of the OOV up. And we are just holding this posture. This works a lot of muscles in the back of our body, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves, but most importantly, it works multifidus, which is a little stabilizing muscle in the spine. And it's incredibly important to have that muscle on to help protect our spine and keep our discs healthy. Almost there, 10 more seconds. Now notice with your hands here, they're down on the floor. If this is too easy for you, you can try to lift them off the floor. So there's ways to challenge this posture where you can lift the hands off the floor. Maybe they're out to the side and just hold and balance. Or maybe they're still on the floor, totally fine. And we're gonna relax all the way down. Let's press up into a shell stretch or a prayer stretch. So we're gonna hinge our hips back, round, and we're gonna put our head into the saddle of the OOV. So the top of the head is gonna kind of push on that saddle into the down slope. Now from here, see if it feels good, but I want you to start lifting the lower body up and actually pressing the head, the top of the head into the OOV, and just kind of bringing your chin down into the chin tucked position. So you're trying to put pressure through the crown of your head, lengthen through the back of the neck here, and just see how much pressure feels good. If it's just a little bit, if you want a little bit more, you can kind of control with your body, with your torso. But we can actually stimulate some mobility and blood flow in our muscles of the head. We can try to turn our head a little bit side to side, almost like creating a slight massage mobilization through the cranial bones. And we'll just hold it for another 10 seconds or so. And then start slowly rolling out of it on to the hands and knees here. Excellent. And we're going to take our body into a sideline position on the OOV. So we'll need our ball and one weight. We're going to have a seat in the saddle. So the hip kind of sits right in the saddle of the OOV. And then you're going to line your body along that groove. So wherever, kind of take a second and kind of get yourself in the position where the side of your body, the thorax, is supported on the OOV. You're low enough where the top leg is nice and straight. The top arm goes all the way over. And we just want to create that nice side bend through the torso here. Focus on keeping the top leg heavy, as if you're almost reaching away from the heel and kind of pulling your body away. So it creates this nice lengthening through QL. From here, we're going to grab our weight. If the weight is too much, don't need to have it. And we're going to start breathing in as we're lifting that arm up and moving it down towards the hip. And then we're taking that hand up and overhead. So let's just take a couple of repetitions focusing on that shoulder movement. Now we're going to keep that hand overhead. We're going to start lifting it up. As it goes down, we're going to start lifting our upper torso down. The bottom hand helps. So we're going to start lifting up, up, up into that side bend. Chicken with your neck. And then we're going to start gliding back down and taking the hand overhead. One more time. Hand lifts up. Torso slides down. Foot is nice and heavy. And then we're coming back over. One more time. Arm lifts up. Now we're going to come up all the way up again. On this one, we're going to go down halfway. Let's hold this position. Now we're going to start challenging our body. Can we take the hand and bring it forward and lift it up? Good. Hold. Now, can we rotate our torso a little bit up to the ceiling from here? Almost just trying to kind of lift the chest. Let's come back to the center and bring it all the way over. Excellent. Now let's come back up. We're still on the sideline. We're going to come up into a supported elbow position. So now we're kind of in this nice supported plank. The weight will reach towards the heel. And we're going to lift that arm up to the ceiling. Now, holding that arm lifted up, staying in the elbow, foot is flexed. Can we lift that leg up parallel to the floor? I'm going to hold this posture. Now we're going to start spinning that femur in the socket. We're going to rotate that foot up to the ceiling and then rotate that foot down to the floor. And up to the ceiling and down to the floor. 2 more times. Last one. Down to the floor. We're going to bring it to parallel. We're going to point that toes and flex the foot. And point the toes and flex. So the entire ankle, point and flex. Good. One more time. And flex. Now we're going to point, stay pointed, still keep holding the leg. Now we're going to take our hand forward to the floor as the leg reaches back. and arm lifts up as the leg reaches forward. Maybe the hand goes as far back as you can. So again, the hand is going to come forward as the leg reaches back, and the arm reaches back as the hip hinges forward. Last one here. And we're going to come back all the way to the center and lower everything back down. For the final side bend on this side, now we're going to come up and do the same sequence on the other side. So taking your OOV, starting in the saddle, so bringing the hip in a good position in the saddle, lining up the side of the body with the line, with the groove of the OOV, taking the weight nearby. And we're going to start with bringing our body into the nice side bend, side line stretch. Take a second and just assess the difference. Do you feel the difference in the length, in the ability to side bend side to side? Kind of take note of that. The more we can get connected to the imbalances and the differences in side to side, the more we can start rewiring and reprogramming and correcting those imbalances. Now we're going to take the weight and we're going to start moving our hand all the way up and down towards the hip, and then bringing it back overhead. Just 2 more times. As you're moving that shoulder, think about that shoulder blade. So as the arm reaches up, the shoulder blade is focused on staying kind of down and nice and connected to the rib cage. So our shoulder blade should rotate around this axis. We shouldn't feel like we're having to hike up to get and reach overhead. Now we're going to start adding a body side bend. So as the arm moves down, using the bottom hand, we're going to start lifting up as high as you can into that side bend. And then going all the way down. Good. 2 more times. Arm lifts up. And we're coming up into the side bend. And going all the way down. Last one here. Now we're going to go all the way down onto the elbow. Excellent. Arm will reach up. Good. Now from here, I forgot to do our hold. Let's do our isometric hold real quick. We're going to take our bottom hand, bring it forward, lift up a little higher. Use that hand to help you get up as high as you can. So that weight in the arm will almost act as an assistance. And then we're going to start rotating our torso towards the ceiling as much as possible. And just holding. Our goal is to really connect into the obliques, into abdominals on that side. The last 5 seconds. We're going to come back forward and go down onto the elbow. Now let's reach that arm up to the ceiling. Elbow is nice and straight. Arm is reaching up. We're going to take our foot, flex it, and lift that hip up. So the hip is parallel to the floor, knees straight, reaching up towards the ceiling. Let's start rotating the femur in the socket. Take it through full range of motion, as much as you can, or as much as you have. Excellent. Mhm. Good. One more. Come back to parallel. We're going to point our toes and the ankle and flex the ankle, flex the toes. The goal here is to keep that isometric contraction through the glute medius, the side muscles of the hip. Having the weight and reaching through the arm, we're also activating our lats. Essentially, we're using the entire side of the body here, working that lateral fascial line. Excellent. Now we're going to point through the toes. We're going to bring the hand forward, palm down, as the leg goes back. And then bring our arm up as the leg comes forward. So go back and forth. Try to keep that leg parallel to the floor, almost pretending as if it's sliding up on the glass top table. As we move through these oppositional directions. 2 more times. And last one here. And we're going to come back all the way to the center and take our body into another side stretch. And we're going to slowly come back up. Now we're going to take this into standing work. So have the wall nearby if you need some assistance on the OOV. But we're going to do some work to activate our muscles in our feet. So we're going to start with the right leg. And I want you to put your foot into the saddle with the second toe lined up through that groove. So you're going to put some pressure into that foot. Kind of press into it, put the weight into it, and then back off. So we'll do this a couple of times, just pressing down through the arch of the foot, through the toes, and then relieving the pressure. Now we're going to push into it again through that foot, and then you're going to start lifting your heel up. So you extend it through all the toes, trying to get that bend up as much as possible, and then start pressing down into those toes, like pushing down into the OOV. And then we're going to start rotating or sort of twisting our foot side to side through those toes. That's slowly lower back down. Now we're going to curl our toes under and press in the same position in the groove. Now we're sort of in this ballerina high half toe position, and we're going to start pushing down into the OOV from there. Same exact concept, and then starting to add some twists through that foot. So you feel this massive, hopefully massive, good stretch through the front of the foot, all the way into the shin. And then relax it all the way down. Now we're going to stand in the saddle of the OOV with that leg. And we're going to just find our balance. We're going to try to bring the opposite leg up. Arms can be out to the side, they can be forward, wherever you need them to help with that balanced position. So this challenges that side-to-side stability. This challenges our arch. Really helps strengthen the transverse arch of the foot. Keep holding it. Feel how, hopefully, you're feeling your hip muscles turn on here. You can kind of notice if your body tends to roll out on the outside. That maybe means that you're not utilizing the arch efficiently. So this will help stabilize and regain balance within that musculature. Excellent, almost there. And then let's relax all the way down. We're going to do the same on the other foot. But before we do that, just kind of stand and assess. Do you feel difference? Do you feel more connected through the foot that we just worked? So let's go to the other side, starting with the saddle. Pressing down into the OOV, just kind of finding that good position, feeling the foam press back towards you, and then backing off of it. Again, compressing that foam. Coming back off. Now we're going to start pushing into that foam through the whole arch and lifting the heel up. Good. Start pressing into the OOV there. Feel the nice stretch through the toes, through the plantar fascia. Do a little rotation through the leg, little twist side to side. And then go ahead and release. We're going to switch. We're going to curl our toes under. Second toe lined up with the groove. And start pressing down into the OOV. As much as you can tolerate, as much stretch as you can tolerate. And then moving side to side. Having the full range of motion of the big toe is super important for gait. Excellent. And then slowly backing off. And we're going to take this in our balance. So find middle ground in that arch where the toes are slightly up through that down slope. And then you're going to push into it. And then let's find balance. Lifting the opposite leg up. One side definitely. This side is way harder for me than the other. Think of the knee just as soft knee, not locked out. It will help. Now this is really challenging. You can keep the top leg on the OOV, just so you can kind of let it touch through the front. We can also use the ball and put the top leg on the ball out to the side, so there is some support. Again, it's important to find the most challenging position, but not so challenging that your body can't quite get there. It will with time and repetition. Almost there. And then we're going to slowly lower it back down. And we are done. Hopefully you feel much more connected in your body now, as opposed to when we started. And let's do real quick that balance test. So the same way when we started. just having a seat at the base of the OOV, lean all the way down, finding that same position where if you were to bring both legs up, it will not pull in the neck. Starting with bringing both hands up towards the ceiling. And then taking one leg up into tabletop. And then the other, or trying to bring it up. And then lowering it down. My balance certainly improved compared to the beginning. I was able to hold all four limbs up in that position. And that's the goal. So as we progress through the sequence and through the exercises, the ultimate goal is to be able to balance with arms and legs on the OOV. That identifies a very connected core, very connected nervous system. And then we can start training our body from there and taking it through more challenging exercises.